Hello everyone, it's Miss Darling in the studio, and today we're going to do another walkthrough of a journal I just finished making. And this has some different aspects to it from anything else I've done. I thought you might enjoy seeing some of the ideas that I've employed in case they inspire you to anything. The first I want to talk about is the tassel that I made for the spine. And as you can see, there's some large stone beads here and some chains and feathers and fabric. Some of the fabric that I used on the cover or inside or was left over from other projects I've worked on. Anyway, if it was color appropriate, it got considered. And so this is the new kind of tassel that I'm making. And if I haven't done one for you already, I plan on doing a video on how I make these kinds of tassels. So this is, I started with a plain fabric for my cover, and I immediately knew I wanted to use a hitch fastener, so I put that on and then decided on the length of my elastic cording on the back, and that's my closure. And on this one it seemed appropriate to put these corner protectors on. So I have those, if you can see those here and here, and they kind of bring that same coloring from the hitch post out here. And now this was a cover that was like a work in progress. I started with an applique that you see here on the very bottom, and I had a doily that I put on top. And I just wasn't thrilled with what I got. And one of the things that I love about collage and decoupage is that if you start out and you're not happy, just keep going. Keep adding layers and layers and layers until you do get happy. And so unlike doing a painting where, maybe a single brush stroke can ruin it for you, in collage, you just keep gluing and trying different things out until you become happy. And so this cover has a great deal of layering that I've done on it. From the applique down here, we've got this metal heart here. We've got some fabric. I don't know what you would call those. They're not really rosettes, but they're circular and they look like little floral designs. I've got some metal dangles here that were part of a bracelet I'd had for many, many years, and I'd taken it apart, and I had those, and I put those on, and I had these little tiny flowers. This was a button here. This is a fabric made to look like a flower or a rosette or something, and I added the pearl center, and here's another metal charm. This was from either a bracelet or something I had anyway. So I just kept adding more and more and more to it until I was finally happy with the overall design. And so I just encourage you, don't get discouraged if you do something that you put down and you think you're going to like it, and then you come back to it the next day and you don't like it at all anymore. Don't give up on it. Just keep working on it until you're happy. And so it took me several different layers before I became happy with my overall design, and it's okay. You know, you don't have to arrive at the final in one stage. Sometimes it's better to, you know, set something aside and come back to it at a later time and add on to it until you wind up happy. So this is wound up being the cover, and you open it up, and this is a 2-signature journal, and there's probably, I don't know, 13 to 15 pages in each signature. And here's the inside end paper that I used, and this is from a master board I made, and so is this. Here's coffee dyed paper, and you know, just an image that I had. And this is the first time I have used colored paper. I purchased this from a gal at Etsy. I'll try to remember to put the link in the video to her, and she does these lovely dyeing of various colors. So in this particular journal, we're going to see the standard coffee dyed paper that I get from a different gal, but then you're going to see some orange, some peach, some blue, and some lavender purple. Lavender purple blue, actually, kind of a denim blue paper. And so this is from a master board, and here's a side tuck that I got, and I made these 2 postcards from some of the vintage imagery that I have, and you can see there is the postcard, the mailing side on the back. And I've said before, mine are more art journals. They're not junk journals by any stretch of the imagination. And I try to choose colors that blend well to be opposite each other. And that, so when you open up the journal, it's pleasing to the eye on both sides, not just one side. Here I've left plenty of space in this journal for writing. Here's some of the blue paper I talked about earlier. This is from a master board that I made, and the flip side is also from a master board. And here's a collage that it started out quite white and had just a little bit of brown in it, but it was the wrong color of brown, and I wanted it to blend nicely with this side. So I took out, I'll remove this, I took out my ink pads, and I added ink. There's some blue in there, and rust, and brown, and a lot of stamping that went on there, and so it wound up looking very, very good with this this page over here. So a little bit of teal and blue, and the same over here. And then this is a postcard that I stuck in there. On the reverse side, I have blues and orange that blend nicely with the orange page over here. So it was important to make a tuck, and this is again a bunch of collage and stamping and stuff, and some even flat back crystals there. And then I had this postcard that I made that has some of those same colors in it, and I tucked that in there. This is 1/2 of an image that I enlarged on my computer, and I just really decided to leave all these pages blank, so there's plenty of journaling place, and this is the other side of that image that I enlarged. And then here we have a different kind of end tuck. This is on tracing paper and splotches of ink and oxide inks, and then, you know, butterflies added on top. And then as tucks, I have this beautiful, is that an orchid, or I think, I'm not real good at naming flowers, but these two vintage postcards, and so I'm sticking those inside there. Some more of that lavender blue paper. Now this is the back end of a master board that I made, and I printed it out on both sides. Two different master boards that go together color-wise. More writing space. Lots of writing space. This is from a jelly plate painting that I did, as well as this side. And this was just a nice ephemera piece that I got from somewhere, don't know where now, but it was in my stash, so I stuck it in there. And then here I made a pocket out of an image that I really liked. And so I've got this deep purple and red going on over here. I've got some rust over here, and the whole thing was just, you know, really blending together well. And I thought this art card with the purple bird was the perfect insert for this side to tie it all together. And that's the end of the first signature. And this whole signature really focused a lot on purple tones and dark blues, but mainly purple and orange and blue throughout. And so now signature number 2, we pretty much dropped out all of the purple tones, and now it's going quite blue and brown neutral. We'll still have an influence of the orange in here. It's very triadic color scheme. And here's another one of these end tags that are just collaged bits of paper incorporated along with stamps and some flat back jewels. And then my inserts are, you know, just simple art cards that are included in that. This is 1/2 of a image I enlarged. Here's another end tuck that I added the blue in there so that it would be very complementary with the blue paper on the other side. And then here is an image that I turned into a postcard, and this is one of my favorite floral painters in the world. It's not the best representation of his work, but I did like that. Here we get to another one. Blue and the rust together. So we have only blue over here, and we have only rust over here. And so the tuck is the bridge. That a bridge is where you have one element that has all the colors in it, which there's blue here, and that justifies this blue being here. There's rust and orange over here, and that justifies this one being here. That's why it's a bridge to both these colors, because it has both of them in the one same item. Like if you're decorating your home and you had fabric on the sofa that was different from fabric that's on your chairs, and they don't seem to go together. All you have to do is get yourself an area rug that has both colors in it to serve as a bridge and give them reason for being in the same room together. And that's how you solve a dilemma like that. And these are just images that I have. They don't particularly have any reason to be here other than I like them, and they're reasonably close in color, and just thought it would make an interesting insert. Again, leaving plenty of place to journal. Another wider end piece. This is collage and stamping and some inking used on this, and something had to tie these two together, and so that's what I did. And then here are some art cards that I've stuck in here that help settle this down and make a pleasing double spread. Here we come to another end tuck. This is on vellum paper with a lot of oxide paint on it, and then the butterflies are glued on after, you know, the ink is dried, and that's how I did that. And then here's just some interesting tucks to slip in there. The other side of that enlarged design. And here are, you know, just some imagery that I have. I cut up. I had a whole bunch of this, but I just didn't feel like using much of it in the journal, but I did make a collage of 3 of them together for this spread. And then over here we have another end tuck, you know, with those same blue and orange was our triadic color scheme, and some postcards. And this was the inside. This was the right side of a master board. I don't believe I did a video on making that. There's the left-hand side, the right-hand side, the flip side, and the front side. So, you know, just very clean, a little bit more modern. And these were all scraps I had from other projects that I used to, you know, give them a repurpose in life by making them a part of a master board. And now they've wound up as covers in a nice journal. And here's the inside back. And the back of this journal just has the fabric, and I didn't feel anything more was necessary. So then it just closes up with the elastic being pulled over onto the hitch, and we'll attach our tassel again, And there you have it. My take on just florals, butterflies, color, and just trying to create something that isn't so full of artwork, that leaves plenty of space for journaling, and was fun to make. So if you like this, please give the video a like, and hopefully you get some ideas from it, some inspiration, some encouragement to go on and just keep working on something that you're not happy with until you become happy. Just don't give up on it. And if you need to set it aside for a day or two, a week, a month, a year, hey, set it aside, come back to it at another time, and give it a look with new eyes and see where it takes you. It's just satisfying to have a problem and eventually be able to overcome it just by going on, just continuing on. So that said, this is Miss Starling calling this a wrap. Bye-bye.